And today it's the #1 ranked undefeated Orangemen of Syracuse on the road to meet the Big Red of Cornell in a night game at Sholkoff Field in Ithaca, New York. Hi again, everybody. Dave Cohn along with Dale Drypulcher, and we welcome you to another Syracuse lacrosse game. A little bit of a different setting for us, outdoors at nighttime here at Sholkoff Field. Very comfortable conditions as we get set for this game at game time, but at this time of the year in central New York, the weather can change quickly. There was an inch of snow on the ground this morning, but right now temperatures in the 50s. This is a different kind of Cornell team record-wise. They lost only once a year ago in the final game, the championship. They've already lost 4 times this year. They've only won twice.
They've had some problems scoring, but I think they've dedicated this game. This is their season right here. If they beat Syracuse, they've still got a chance to get in the playoffs. They're looking forward to that, but they're not looking past this game. This is the game for Cornell, so I'm looking for anything and everything.
When you talk about having problems scoring, it's hard to understand when you've got Tim Goldstein, who had 73 assists a year ago, including 9 against Syracuse, but his numbers are down.
He's only got 19 points this year. He really has got a couple of problems. He's an excellent feeder. He was a transfer. You can tell he can get the job done. They just are not clicking this year. They knew they were going to have a little bit of a problem this year, I think, with new people. They didn't know it was going to be this bad. Goldstein, however, is definitely a guy that can get them back on track. He's super.
He's number 15, Tim Goldstein. Here's 3 of the 9 assists he had against Syracuse. That's an all-time record for a Cornell player. And he also had a record 25 points in the NCAA tournament. And in the nets for Cornell, the outstanding Paul Schmoller. He had one of the greatest games we've ever seen a year ago.
Absolutely. He's an excellent athlete, and he's got very, very good quickness. He's only a junior. He's a tremendous goalie. His brother played for Syracuse, so there's a little bit of a connection there, but he's a very good goalie, and if he gets hot, he might give Syracuse some problems, maybe get them a little frustration, and that's what they'd like to see. Get Syracuse a little frustrated. Nobody has done that maybe since North Carolina game, Dave, so I think Richie Moran would like to have that happen tonight.
You know, the last time Gary Gate failed to score a goal in a game was against these Big Red of Cornell. It was in that game when Schmoller had the record 34 saves, but he's had 45 goals in 8 games, and he scored well over 60 in his last 14.
You know, everybody knows about him now. He's no secret. They knew about him last year as a freshman, came on late. Nobody's been able to really devise anything to stop him. It will be interesting to see if Richie Moran does anything special to stop this man, because he's just a scoring machine. That's all there is to it, and nobody's really been able to stop him. And the thing that's scary is Syracuse has shown enough balance. If you shut Gary Gate off, other people can pick up the slack.
Syracuse has had scoring from 24 different men, including a big stick middy, Phil Schluter, with 2 goals last game against Hobart.
He got 2 last week. He looked great. Zilberti fed him on both. He's an excellent big stick middy. Syracuse has been playing very well defensively. McNamara and McCabe, I think, are people to watch tonight, along with Schluter and the rest of the big stick middies. They could be a key if they can slow down the game. However, Cornell will kind of be slowing the pace down, but I'm talking about slowing down the offense of Cornell. The defense has done a super job. He's looking for some consistency tonight against Richie Moran's Big Red.
Richie Moran has exactly 200 career wins, and Roy Simmons knows that anytime he goes up against Cornell and anytime he coaches against Richie Moran, you've got to be on the lookout for any possible change in strategy, including something that happened in the semifinal game last year when, with the score tied 15-15, Moran asked for a stick check against Gary Gate, and Roy wasn't too happy about that.
Well, it's just a case of challenging personal integrity. In my estimation, I think if there is an illegal stick, it becomes obvious. And I think when you're just taking shots wildly because a fella has 5 goals at that point in the ball game, that it's at that level of ball, semifinals, NCAA play in front of 20,000 people, I think it's the wrong time and place to challenge somebody's personal integrity.
So there is a score to settle for at least one team and one coach in this contest.
I really look for an exciting game, and as you said, be on your toes. Anything can happen when Richie Moran's got his back to the wall.
We'll be back, and we'll have the opening face-off, Syracuse and Cornell, right after this. And here's a look at the Division I lacrosse poll as we get set for Syracuse and Cornell. And Syracuse undefeated at 8-0. Johns Hopkins has moved up into second place on the strength of some strong play lately. They've defeated North Carolina. Then Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Loyola of Maryland, and Yale. There are actually 3 Ivy League teams in the top 10, Penn, Yale, and Brown. Roy Simmons on the Syracuse sideline. And his opposite number is, of course, Richie Moran. Roy Simmons with 160 career wins. Richie Moran right now at 200. Both coaches looking out to the midfield area where Syracuse will be dressed in the orange, Cornell in the home white. Joe Lizio, number 14, will be set to face off for Cornell, and Bill Durgel slated to step in for Syracuse. Lizio's had quite a year as a face-off man. He's won 49 of 96, so that's slightly better than 50%.
Durgel's up close to 70 at this point, probably emerging at this point one of the best face-off men in the country.
Matt Palem in the nets for Syracuse and Paul Schmoller for Cornell. Jake Curran, one of the officials, working along with Walt Munsey.
Jim O'Hara, the other official, for the three.
And we're underway, and Lizio is brought down. No trip called. Loose play, and it looks like Cornell will come up with the ball, but now it's taken down by Gary Gate. Gate is dumped to the turf, the ball heading toward the sideline and out. Now we will see many more balls go out of bounds on this field because it's a crown field, and the nap of the carpet is almost non-existent compared to the Carrier Dome, which is flat and has a higher pile on the artificial carpet.
I bet you're going to see some people from Syracuse maybe slipping down too. It is a little slick out there. It's not wet, but it just is not as, I think, tight as the dome surface.
Tim Goldstein now on the attack. He's being checked by the freshman Pat McCabe. He breaks free. McCabe separates him from the ball. Scaramazzino, 23, in there digging with a long stick. Throws his shoulder into Caliendo, and it is Scaramazzino who comes up with it. Scaramazzino upfield, intended for Greg Burns, bouncing out of bounds. It's going to be Cornell ball. There's the second ball to go out of bounds in the opening 38 seconds. Jim McNamara for Syracuse, one of the defensemen. McNamara, Stouffer, and McCabe, the starting defense. Vince Angotti on the attack. Out there along with Bill O'Hanlon, a midfielder. Now Angotti has it, number 7, as he heads toward the box. He'll be met there by Persing. His shot on net is saved by Palem. And Matt with a quick outlet pass. Phil Schluter, the big stick defender, gets it downfield. He heads off. Coming on is Gary Gate. Greg Burns, number 14, looks to get Gate. He's got him coming in. This is danger, and he scores. He was left all alone, and that is a tough assignment for any goalie. And Paul Schmoller beaten by Gary Gate for his 46th goal of the year, and the Orangemen on top. 1-0 on the goal by Gary Gate off the assist from Greg Burns.
Gate got it coming out of the box there. Nobody picked him up. He got about a 20-yard head start. They finally slid over, but it was too late. And one of those well-placed shots. That's Scaramazzino, one of the big stick middies. You're looking at that. But Gary Gate, 1 for 1 tonight. Syracuse takes a 1-goal lead. 13:49 left to go in the first quarter.
Off the face-off, the white shirts of Cornell in there digging, but it is Paul Gate is closest to it. It's kicked away from him. Losing a stick on the play was Joe Lizio, and Syracuse gets it back. Paul to Gary Gate. They feed the crease. Burns looked before he had it, and Burns in pursuit now. Picked up by Jim Egan. Egan feeding down low to Zilberti, touching the ball for the first time. John Zilberti.
They've got Durgel in there. They want to get him off now. He'll run off, and Zilberti will hold on. And they got to run out of trouble here as they get on. Number 3.
Syracuse losing the ball. Palem way out of the cage. He's out of his own box to play it. He takes a hit. He fights it off. And at midfield, he sends it up ahead to Zilberti. Now they'll kill some time to let Palem head back into the cage.
A little problem there. They couldn't run out of trouble, and by the time Brad Roos got the ball, it was too late. They lost it. They got it back again. Gary Gate with it now.
There's Gary Gate working one-on-one momentarily against McDevitt. Tim McDevitt, the junior out of Levittown, went to Chaminade High School. 1-0 Syracuse. We're 2.5 minutes into the game.
Now he's going to try to get some help. That's McDevitt right there.
This could be an isolation now. Here comes Gate. One-on-one. He shoots and scores. When Syracuse feels that they have a player defensively who can't handle Gate, they'll isolate Gate behind the net, and that's what happened there as he gets the second goal of the game, Gary Gate.
Well, he went out with McDevitt. McDevitt's on there. He's got to get him some help. The only guy that can really help him, of course, is Schmoller. But Schmoller, when he gets out of position, the placement is there, and he gets his second goal. Gary Gate 2 for 2, 2 shots, 2 goals. At this point in the game, 12:28 left, Syracuse up by 2.
Gary Gate is pursuing the all-time Syracuse single season record for goals, 56. And the man who set that record is here tonight as an assistant coach for Cornell. That's Tom Corey.
They're going to lose that face-off on a penalty. You know, the first one Cornell gets is on a penalty. Durgel trots off. Cornell will pick up the ball.
Incidentally, Gary Gate told me he was bothered by a pulled muscle in his back and only practiced a couple of days before the Hobart game. He was a little bit concerned about it coming in. Syracuse leads 2-0. Cornell's Goldstein with the ball, knocked away from him, and a whistle stops the play. McCabe was there.
To hold. Goldstein held his stick, I believe, and that will be Syracuse ball. They've got McCabe, a freshman, on Goldstein at this point, and McCabe, there's Goldstein. That's the assist leader from last year who said the player of the year, but McCabe, only a freshman, has really impressed, I think, the Syracuse coaching staff and all the opponents. Right now, Matt Palem going to bring it up.
He is a takeaway specialist, is Pat McCabe. Two Long Island players there with Tim Goldstein from Stony Brook and McCabe out of Elmont. Palem walking it up, looking to the near side and going that way now to Stouffer. Stouffer hitting Gate coming in off the bench, deflected at midfield by Goldstein, and now Gate has it. The yellow line delineates the box. Gary Gate's in there now. They play him with one man. Only McDevitt's playing him. He was victimized a couple of seconds ago. Look at Gate fight it off. He shoots and a save. The net was empty for a second on the rebound, and now Schmoller has it. Gary Gate showed you his excellent strength there as he fought off two men to get the shot, but Schmoller makes the save. Still 2-0 Syracuse.
The thing about McDevitt, he's got a short stick, too. He is playing Gary Gate with a short stick.
Schmoller upfield, and it's pulled down by Caliendo, giving ground in his own end. Now he sends it back on a redirect to Schmoller, up to the near side, and here comes Leahy. And they send it back. John Rossetti's on number 41. Schmoller faking, going to the far side. Now he's going to throw it in the middle. Again, Cornell slow and coming out of their own end of the field.
Syracuse doing a good job of riding, hoping to force right here the ground ball.
They did force the mistake off the stick of Brian McCormack. He gets it back, and he has it sticked away from behind by Schluter. Syracuse with Rob Persing looks to come out. Persing has it taken away. Here's a low shot. Palem for the save. Stouffer in to gather the loose ball on the rebound. And he sends it out now to McCabe. Now Syracuse trying to transition. Interception at midfield. Knocked out of the stick momentarily of Steve Meyer, and Cornell gets it back. Here's Angotti. He looks for his team to get some better numbers. Now he'll give it up to Goldstein. McCabe is on him. Patrick McCabe on Tim Goldstein.
Just one thing about that is he's not really had good body position, but he's been able to get the stick around and take it away from Goldstein after Goldstein has actually kind of beaten him position-wise. Let's see what happens.
Goldstein giving it up behind the cage now. Now Persing draws the assignment of stopping O'Hanlon. Persing and O'Hanlon. The man-to-man defense has really been a characteristic, a hallmark of the Syracuse team. Now we're back to that original matchup, McCabe and Goldstein.
Cornell's being very patient. They don't want to get into that loose ball situation, let Syracuse transition all the time.
There's a great view of it as Goldstein works for the shot and scores.
See if that's a technical. No, it's a slash. So they will also get a man out, and we'll see what happens as Goldstein swings around. Watch McCabe. I said before he was beating him body position. Right there, he's behind, and he's got to try to get him, and he got him on the head. You can see what happened. So that will be 1 minute up for Cornell. First man up situation in the game.
Goal number 7 of the year for Tim Goldstein, the All-America Player of the Year last season. And a transfer to Cornell.
Unassisted goal scored by Cornell.
No assist on the goal. It's a 2-1 game. And that's a big goal for Cornell. They're right back in this one. So each team's big gun is broken into the scoring column. Goldstein won the Turnbull Award as the outstanding attackman in the United States in Division I last season. 16 assists in the NCAA tournament and a record 25 points. And the faceoff is won by Lizio. So Cornell dominating the faceoffs early. Lizio gives it up as he heads off, and Gotti has it. Now on the stick of John Heil, number 10. Heil is out of Arnold, Maryland. McNamara playing nobody in front of the cage. This is zone defense by Syracuse.
Well, they're down a man. They've still got a little while. I don't know how much time is left, but after that minute penalty, now they got to open
Up
in
top,
front.
Cummings scores. Mike Cummings has tied the game at 2-2. He got the open shot from up top, straight on against Matt Palum, and we're now tied at 2-2.
Man-up goal, and this is exactly what Cornell wanted to do, I think, is get into the game early, and there's the shot past Matt Palum. Man-up goal, the foul by McCabe, the penalty, and then losing the face-off. Syracuse down, tied up 2-2, maybe a little momentum to Cornell. Very early, 8:54 left first quarter. Ball popped out, and that's 44, scoops that up, so Syracuse, I think, 3-2 now in the face-off department. They are all over Gate. There are two guys on Gary Gate. They're not letting him just run up the sideline and clear the ball.
Lizio got it. Lizio fed Meyer, and now Stouffer having trouble picking it up. Stouffer kicking it away and trying to play it in the corner before it goes out, and successful there is McCabe, and he takes a hit. Goldstein contending the call that gives Syracuse the ball. We're going to get another look at this hit. Watch the way McCabe was waiting.
Watch McCabe just didn't know he was going to scoop it out. That was a high. It would hit him in the head. There's no doubt about it. Richie Moran's upset about it. He's all over Walt Munsey, but that was either an illegal check or unnecessary roughness. Take your choice. Goldstein's out for a minute.
So now the momentum has shifted a little bit. Bill Durgel on the sideline getting words of encouragement, the Syracuse face-off specialist. Greg Burns now to Brad Ruse. Behind is Zilberti, near side to Gate. Paul Gate. Burns back to Paul. Paul to Ruse. Ruse, they working into Zilberti. Up top, Paul Gate. He fakes the pass. He goes to the right hand. Low shot, saves Schmoller. And the rebound to Stefano. Knocked away from him by Peter Allen. Allen loses control, and it's played by Rossetti. Rossetti up ahead now to McCormack. McCormack outruns the Syracuse defender. Now Caliendro has trouble. He's checked from behind by McCabe, the separator. And the ball rolls out. It will belong to Syracuse.
One thing that Cornell is doing is they're hustling, and when Gary Gate gets the ball and he's not in their offensive half of the field, they are putting two people and trying to get the ball down. And there's McCabe hacking into Hewen with that piece of aluminum, and he does knock the ball loose from Caliendo, and it went off of Cornell. Syracuse clear. Attempt right now.
Kevin Miranda's in the game for the first time, the coach's son. He wears number 8 for Cornell. Syracuse getting Earl Hall and Keith Owens into the game.
Official timeout, that little stick problem there. I think a stick broke or delay a game now against Syracuse. I thought it was, I saw him make a sign pretty far up here, but it was definitely delay a game. Syracuse loses an opportunity.
So they put the ball in the stick of Vince Angotti, and Cornell, having scored the last 2 goals, now looking to take the lead. It's Goldstein who's going to play it in from the far side. Number 15, here he comes, Tim Goldstein. Syracuse 2 and Cornell 2. We're midway through the first quarter. Game being played at a slower pace, which definitely favors Cornell and takes away Syracuse's advantage in numbers in terms of alternating and substituting players in the game.
Cornell really spreading out their offensive players, the attack men and the middies. They got one man behind now and really running a spread out. Not a lot of people packed on the crease.
And Gotti is played by Rod Persing, number 34. Going back and forth, running time off the clock. Perhaps trying to catch Syracuse napping a bit. Down to 7 minutes to go in this first quarter.
You hear Richie Moran saying get the ball to Timmy.
Now Angotti makes the move. Same play, and it's knocked over the top of the cage. Same play as Goldstein scored on earlier. Meyer whips it crossfield. Played again by Goldstein. McCabe on him.
When you spread this out, you don't get many slides. You can't get much help when you get beat one-on-one, and it seems that Cornell is trying to spread things out.
I thought Goldstein called out play 33, or maybe that's number 33. Here he goes one-on-one. McCabe lost the angle. Palum comes out. Palum separates him from the ball. Palum eludes a hit by Caliendo, Matt Palin gives it up. Palin definitely helped himself there. Now McNamara back to McKay. They take away the transition game from Syracuse.
Well, that's exactly what they want to do. They do not want to get into a running match, and as I said, that was definitely just a one-on-one with McCabe, and Syracuse got the ball back, but Goldstein going to maybe look a little bit more to score some goals and not for the assist tonight. A very spread-out offense for Cornell.
Now Syracuse, in effect, playing into Cornell's hands by walking it up.
Well, when they're in a settled situation, there's not much they can do. They're looking to get a break right here. They get the ball across to Paul Gate.
Palin passed it to Gate. He carries it into the box. He dislocates from the ball, and we'll get a whistle to stop the play.
It'll be a slash. Syracuse will be man up. Obviously, the philosophy, when they get the ball, let's get some people on them and knock them down. Let's get Syracuse out of their game. They're used to running. It's not that they can't play settled offense. It's just that throughout the season, they're so used to playing a game the one way that Cornell wants to make them think a little bit, get them out of sync.
Syracuse now with Greg Burns getting it to Paul Gate, to Gary Gate. John Zoberti in his accustomed spot behind the cage. Here comes Gary Gate. He'll take the shot. He got the crossbar. Rebound ricochets to Schmoller. Syracuse player was dumped, Paul Gate, after the play, and it'll go against Cornell.
Boy, that net even ripped. He really put a lot of mustard on that. Watch. Boy, it really made the net. I mean, didn't hit the net. It wasn't a goal, but the power on that hit the crossbar was something. But an illegal pick will cost Cornell the ball.
We're tied at 2-2. We're in the first quarter.
They had a little trouble getting the ball set up.
Now Gary Gate has it. Here we go. He sends behind to Zoberti. Zoberti going to the right-hand pass. Up top to Burns. Paul Gate cuts through. Gary Gate pops out. And working to Zoberti. Quick stick. Score! Beautiful ball movement. Jim Egan gets the goal.
Egan gets the third goal of the night for Syracuse on a nice extra man play. They worked the ball around well. Egan snuck over, got in front of Schmoller, and dumped it by him for Syracuse's third goal.
And Jim Egan has goal number 9 on the year for him. The assist goes to John Zoberti, who made that quick pass. So Syracuse on top again, 3-2. They have not trailed in the game. Now we'll see if Bill Durgel employs any different method on the face-off. He knocks it free, but back to play it is Lizio. So Cornell controls the face again. They send back in their own end, and Zoberti's there to apply the pressure. Syracuse may elect to go more to a pressure-type game with a ride to pick up the tempo. Schmoller now with Zoberti on him. Burns takes a run at Rossetti. Now Schmoller has it again. Under 5 minutes to play. There's an error, and Burns can't pick up the ball, however, as McCormack has it. McCormack being ragged by David Patain. Now in the midfield area, O'Hanlon carries it across with Caliendo on his left. He gets it now on the wing. Owens playing him defensively. Charlie Caliendo, number 22. Senior out of Hempstead, Long Island.
Once again, you see the spread out offense that Cornell is using.
And Gotti, number 7, Cockeysville, Maryland, cuts through, loses the ball to Stouffer, who can't handle it. Stouffer's had trouble handling the ball tonight. Here comes Owens. Owens, nobody on his left. He's got a couple of men on his right. He feeds the crease, intending to go to Scaramuzzino. Now he shovels it back toward the goal, but it's going to be picked up by McCormack. McCormack back to Schmoller. Not a good offensive opportunity that time by Syracuse. They weren't balanced as they came downfield.
Well, Cornell is really going after him, too. If you get the ball, you better be aware that those guys in the white and red are going to be after you, and they want to put the ball down and get the ball back to their offense. And he fakes a long pass, Schmoller does, and they send it over to his defenseman, Rossetti.
Schmoller goes near side now to DeStefano, with Greg Burns up to harass him. Now McCormack changing directions. Cornell carrying it across in midfield. O'Hanlon coming into the box. He's left free. He may shoot. He fed Cummings instead, and Syracuse takes it away. Now they've got the transition going. Patain up ahead to Burns. Burns will walk it into the box.
Well, they had the big sticks on, so he wants to give him time to get off. They're not going to jump Burns. They're going to let him go on the fly. Gate's got to jump.
And Gate comes in. He's got the advantage, but we'll get a call at midfield on the substitution. It's going to go against Cornell.
Well, Cornell's being very aggressive, and they are going to call an illegal check. Walt Munsey is going to jump right on it, and that's going to be McDevitt. 44, I believe, is going to be called for an illegal check.
Was that illegal coming out of the box in the substitution?
That's not the signal I got. He gave it. We'll check.
Moments ago, here's how Gary Gate came in off the bench, and the call was made away from the play.
Hold it, Mr. Munsey. Mr. Munsey. Mr. Munsey, can I ask you a question, please?
Now there's Richie's going to get Mr. Munsey. That was interference, is what he called.
That's interference. Rotate. Wait, how about the box here?
You know what he did? He said he interfered with somebody coming out of the box.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, right. I thought he made an initial designation. I think he just showed him how he did it. And at any rate, Syracuse got the ball.
Zilberti, Syracuse now working the ball around with a man advantage. Syracuse scored on their last extra man opportunity. Now Burns gets it to Zilberti coming from behind in front. There's an attempt and a shot that's just wide by Peter Allen, and another flag is down. Now we'll get a slash call, and Cornell will be down 2 men.
We don't know how much is left in the first penalty. There it is right there. They tried to take John's clavicle and put it on the turf. Nice shot of the foul. So they'll be down 2 men for at least a couple of seconds.
Leahy checked out.
Called on Cornell, number 43, Patrick Leahy.
And before we get a Syracuse 2-man opportunity, Cornell takes time. We'll be right back with 2:28 to play in the first quarter. Syracuse leads it 3-2. Back at Sholkoff Field, Syracuse leading Cornell 3-2 in a very strategic first quarter of play. Gary Gate has a couple of goals. Here's Syracuse, the perfect season to date, as they've had victories over Hopkins, North Carolina, Delphi, Cortland State, Brown, Hofstra, and Hobart. Syracuse at 8-0.
They're going to be 2 men up for 9 seconds. There's 9 seconds left in the first penalty, and then they'll be man up for 51 after that.
Burns to Ruse to Zilberti to Paul Gate in close. He may have had a shot opportunity. He tried to get it to brother Gary, who keeps it inbounds. Can't control the ball yet, and Cornell's going to get it.
Cornell's man down now. They're only 1 man down. It was
McCormack tries to cheap it out of there. He gets it to midfield. McNamara keeps it on. Gate has it knocked away. Syracuse plays it back with Stouffer. They're retreating, giving ground as they try to form the play. A bouncer upfield to Burns. Somebody's lost a stick. They go to the far wing, in close. Zilberti deflected at the defense and heading out of bounds.
Off of Cornell, I believe, yeah.
Syracuse will keep it.
He hit Stefano. Tried to kind of force that pass to the crease, I think. See Richie Moran down there working the officials. He's not really supposed to be out there. He's working, hoping to get a call out of this. The man really is a master. And he's talking all the time. Syracuse ball, but they kind of forced that pass to the crease, I think. 3-2, 1:46 left, first quarter. Paul Gate with the ball.
Paul Gate gets it to brother Gary. He's got the 2 goals. Now Zilberti sneaking in, goes the other way. Guarded by DeStefano. They work it up top of the box. Burns is going to give it up now to Gary Gate. He gets it right in front for Allen, knocked off his stick. Was it a shot? Yes, it was. So Zilberti closest to it, keeps it for the Orangemen. Zilberti nearly touched it as it was going out of bounds. Minute 26 to go in the first. Very pleasant night.
2 big sticks in, Gleason in, and DeStefano. And Lizio checks out for Cornell.
We'll watch this play develop from behind because Gary Gate has it. Twice before he's gone one-on-one, and here he comes again. He gives it up this time to Paul. Up top, Ruse faked the shot. He switches hands and he scores. Brad Ruse faked the right-handed shot, then he went to the left hand and he scores.
Looked like they might be running a little bit of a zone there up on the front of the cage, and then they got the ball over. Watch the move by Roos. It's just a roll dodge. Actually just brought the stick over and then went the other way, and he's big. He doesn't look it, Dave, but he's a big, powerful kid. He got a good, heavy shot off on Schmoller, and that's his first of the night, and fourth for Syracuse.
Brad Ruse is 7 goals on the year. He's only taken 21 shots. And Syracuse again out to their 2-goal lead. They led 2-0. Durgel rakes it back, and he's going to go back to play it. Durgel is checked away by a combination of Cornell players, and Goldstein gets it back. Here's an opportunity, but it's mishandled, and Keith Owens has it now. Owens ahead to Rodney Dumpson, who runs well, but he can't come up with the ball. Burns back to play it. Burns may carry it in himself. He does.
He's going to settle it down a little bit. Syracuse is going to get used to playing this half-court game, if you will, half-field game.
Egan goes one-on-one. Egan stops. Egan double-team, loses it. Schmoller picks it out of midair. Schmoller runs well up the sideline. His brother John played on Syracuse's national championship team of 1983. Now with half a minute to go, Cornell sent a man on the field. We may have had an inadvertent whistle to stop the play. Charlie Caliendo, 22, came on, and a whistle stopped play.
Well, I think there was a horn that they wanted to be able to change, and I don't see any designation of a penalty, so they've got people on and off. Incidentally, that was Leahy that was on gate the last time. They might be changing some people around. We'll see.
Now they mark it for play again. We're down to half a minute to go in the first. On the move is Goldstein. They knocked the ball away from him, and guess who it was? McCabe again. Now Angotti spinning free. He cranks, and his shot is high and wide.
The thing about that matchup is that Goldstein is very quick, and he gets, as I said, he'll beat number 29, McCabe. But watch what he does. He lets him get by, and then when you hang that stick, man, he knocks it right out of there. Watch it. Just hung it too late. Knocked it out.
And Goldstein paid after that ball was knocked away. We've got an injured Cornell player down.
Looks like, is it Goldstein? Yeah, Goldstein's down.
He was crunched after that takeaway by McCabe. We saw it on that tail end of the replay.
Richie Moran out on the field again, really working these officials.
And now Roy Simmons is going to come out and wonder why Richie's out there walking around giving the officials an earful.
Well, he's asking how he got a cut if he wasn't checked illegally or hit with a stick, is what he's asking.
We'll try to look at it again and see the tail end of the play. Oh.
He got checked. Now it might have even been his own stick that went up. I don't know. The stick was checked. It might have been his stick. We couldn't see from there. But I'll tell you, Jake Curran will not take a whole lot more of this. He wants to let him know who's in control of the game.
Well, Moran giving Curran the earful right now. Goldstein is down, and if Cornell's to have any chance, they've got to have Tim Goldstein in the game.
Well, Goldstein, as we said, not looking for assist, and he has got a lot of blood on that face. He got a cut right on the nose.
He's going to sit down on the Cornell bench and be attended to. In the meantime, we have 18 seconds to go in this first quarter. Richie Moran, assisted by Keith Reitenbach and Tom Corey, who holds the Syracuse record for the most goals in a year. Ball in the far corner. Palem's out of the nets. They'll double him. The cage is empty, and Persing gets the loose ball. He'll kill some time off. Upfield he goes, and it's regained by Cornell with 8 seconds to go. Maybe not enough time for another scoring opportunity. Cornell losing the ball. Schluter taking away from O'Hanlon. And we got a whistle before time had run out. But that is the end of the first quarter. With the score, Syracuse 4 and Cornell 2. Richie Moran in the midst of the Cornell huddle. He'll be doing a lot of that tonight. A lot of talking to his team, talking to the officials. Syracuse leading at 4-2 after one quarter.
Well, as we said at the beginning of the game, this is really Cornell's season. The Syracuse headlines in the paper were Big Red or dead. If they don't do it tonight, they're really as far as playoffs, and this could really make their season, turn them around. So you are going to see a lot of hustling, and this man that you just saw there, Roy Simmons Jr., has got to believe that he's got to keep the tempo, maybe get it up a little bit. It's 4-2. It will perhaps slow down. Second half seems to slow down a little bit, although Syracuse is very good, the second half team. But Richie Moran has got to be satisfied at this point the way his team is playing.
Yeah, well, I'm a little bit surprised at the size of the crowd. It is small. Cornell not having a good year, but defending runners-up and playing the #1 team in the country. And it's not a cold night by any stretch of the imagination, at least yet. Durgel on the face-off with Lizio, and Gary Gates in to play it. He runs extremely well. As you can see now, he galloped away from a couple of white shirts, gives it up to Durgel for a shot and a score. Give the assist to Gary Gate, and that may have caught Paul Schmoller by surprise. Durgel gets the goal. As we pointed out throughout the season, Bill is considerably quicker this year as a result of having lost 15 pounds. Syracuse 5, goal number 8 on the year for Bill Durgel.
Well, they're used to having Durgel get off the field, and they got him down, got him into the offense. Gate got him the ball, and he just ripped a shot past Schmoller. And he's starting to, face-offs are fairly even. I believe that's 4-3 now. We look at the face-offs, yeah, it's now 4-4, that face-off, but stats are fairly even, and Syracuse now gets the second face-off, 6-4 now.
Gary Gate makes the move. He has the choked up stick. Now he fakes the shot. It's knocked away just at the same moment. Very good job by Cornell. Lizio has it now. He'll redirect it to his defenseman. Zilberti's going to stay back there and apply pressure. Syracuse went to this late in the first quarter, and they were able to force a couple of errors by Cornell. Syracuse has scored the last 3 goals of the game. They lead it now 5-2, their biggest margin.
You want to force that long pass. There's another one for Rossetti.
Rossetti on the near side. Rossetti is out of Corning East High School.
By taking Schmoller, they're making a pass to the wing defenseman, and they're really getting up there. Now that's a clear. They redirect back again. Good defense by Syracuse.
And they send it back to Rossetti. Here's a bad pass. That's what Syracuse wanted. Zilberti sneaking in, hits the crossbar. And the rebound out to Paul Gate, who can't play it.
Still a shot.
But since he is closest to it, the Orange keep it.
John's got to be upset about that. He had a one-on-one and piped it. But that's the thing we were talking about. They were playing good defense, forcing the long pass. They got the ball to John, and he piped it up in the left-hand corner. But Syracuse, good ride that time. Excellent.
It was Greg Burns who came up with a steal, and then he fed John Zilberti. That time the crossbar working for Cornell. Syracuse leading at 5-2. Here's a one-on-one move by Egan. Back to Zilberti. Feeds the crease, and a quick stick goal by Burns. Roy Simmons looking on, liking that. John Desko certainly the more vocal of the two on the sideline, and now Syracuse out to a 6-2 lead on the score by Greg Burns.
Great positioning by Burns. There were 2 guys on him. McCormick, number 33, was closest, but he really great body position, got the nice feed, and put it in for the 6th goal. His first, and Burns looking a little more offensive tonight than he normally does.
In a good sort of way.
Right, yeah, in the offense.
Cornell's going to take a timeout. They've fallen behind by 4 goals, and there's that much time remaining in the first half. We'll return in just a minute. Syracuse leading this game by a score of 6-2, and they're spreading the wealth around.
Yeah, they sure are. We got to look at some of the fans overdressed because, as you said, Dave, it's really a nice night, but Syracuse is also having a nice night. They've got 4 different guys on assist: Burns, Egan, Gate, and Z on assist. Durgel and Burns on a score, Egan, Gate, Gary Gate, Brad Roos. So they're really getting a lot of action.
Actually, we're overdressed too with our ski gear.
That's right.
But we didn't anticipate the plush surroundings here at Sholkoff and this beautiful new press box and garage and new grandstand. It's really a tremendous facility.
Really pretty sight and just a great facility. Last time I was here, water dripped on my head out of a pipe, but this is great. It really is. It's a great facility, and Cornell maybe down a little bit this year in lacrosse, but it's a great tradition. Maxie Bond's football team, of course, rebounding, so it's a great place to play. I think a very pretty sight.
Cornell's athletic director, Lang Kennedy, watching from his new booth, which is right smack dab in the middle of this beautiful press facility.
I don't blame them.
They really are to be commended for the job, and what a tremendous architectural job, too. Bill Durgel and Joe Lizio on the face-off. We're a minute and a half into the second quarter, and Syracuse leads it by a score of 6-2. They've scored the game's last 4 goals. And the face-off won again. Here's Rodney Dumpson, players on his right and left. He goes on his left to Zilberti, who dribbles it. Picks it back up. Zilberti getting ahead of steam now, stopping on a dime, spinning free again, spinning free a third time. Now they take it away.
Oh, it's either a push or a slash. That'd be a push. One thing, they're moving, Zilberti's playing out from the attack position, more of a midfield. They've kind of inverted people. Watch he whirls, twirls, and then he's going to get pushed right from behind. That was Gleason. No, let's check that. That was McCormick that pushed him.
By the way, John Zilberti now gets credit for an assist on the last goal, so he has 2 assists in the game. They took it away from Egan. Here is Egan with the ball, trying to use the pick of Zilberti. Stefano is playing him. That chatter you hear is the goalie Schmoller calling out the defensive assignments. Up top now, Ricky Kramer. Kramer moving on his defensive opposite number, Leahy. Now Keith Owens. Owens with a hesitation. Owens looks for the low shot, and Schmoller deflected it out. Now Cornell looking to transition. They're going to bring it across and then perhaps slow it down. With the ball now is Gleason giving it up behind to Goldstein. He loses it, and Scaramuzino will shield him from the ball, and Syracuse will get it back. Make it McCabe.
Right, McCabe, who has been on Goldstein and let him get by and then taken the ball away, but we're wondering what Goldstein must have gotten some first aid to the nose. He had a nasty cut on there, but he lost that one, and Syracuse will clear.
I don't know if I can recall a freshman who was an All-America as a defensive player, but McCabe is playing like an All-American.
Well, he really is the takeaway guy, and Coach Simmons told us that, and I think it's the last 2 or 3 games he's really shown that, and we've seen it so far tonight.
Yeah, I'll get it later.
Make you a little nervous sometimes, but McCabe, an excellent athlete, and playing well for Syracuse. He's going to have a little opportunity here to get the ball up.
And he tried to quick stick it upfield. It was intercepted. Now Cornell gets the break. Coming in against Palin and shooting high was Kevin Moran, who beats the turf as he goes down in the prone position. The coach's son had a point-blank opportunity, and he shot it way high over the cage of Matt Palin.
That was a great opportunity for Cornell because they did the bad pass by McCabe. There's no doubt about it. They intercepted, had the fast break, and I think that would have really lifted them up had they gotten that one easily. But watch, Palin's getting back, McCabe's getting back, McNamara comes over, and it was just a high shot. There was no doubt about it.
So Syracuse gets it back, leading by a score of 6-2. This is Dave Cohen along with Dale Drypulcher at Sholkoff Field. Matt Palin was walking it up ever so slowly now, seeing what Cornell's going to do defensively. And now he gets it up to Ruse. Ruse in the middle of Gary Gate. And Gate has the legs and the strength to run away from the defenders. He gives it up to Owens. Back to Gary Gate. Gate has shot 4 times in the game. He scored twice. By the way, earlier I believe I said Durgel had 8 goals. He has 4, but he's only taken 8 shots on the season.
Syracuse now taking their time, and they're going to tell them to bring it in a little bit and get in position. Now they may have to get in the box and keep it in there. Ball down, out of the box.
Intended for Burns, thrown away. Syracuse's McNamara plays
Great
it.
job. Oh,
And
offside.
we'll get it offsides.
Owens tried to get there, but he was too late. McNamara went over, and that will cost Syracuse a possession. Jim McNamara, the junior who's playing so well. Watch, here's McNamara, and they're looking. Oops, he knows he's going, and then he looks and says, where was my help? And it was Owens who did not get over in time to help out.
So Cornell gets it back with another opportunity now. They missed their last one. Goldstein gets the jump on McCabe. Now McCabe's out to lay a little aluminum on him.
Boy, look, no matter where, if he's going to hang that stick, McCabe's going to get a piece of aluminum on it.
Forces Goldstein to give it up. First to Meyer. Now Caliendo has it, 22. Caliendo has drawn Scaramuzino, 23 defensively. Again, Cornell spreading it out, trying to take away any defensive help.
It really does give you some isolations. It's a long way to jump and slide. There's Scaramuzino playing good team defense, but Cornell's got to be patient. They're only down by 4 goals, and that's not much in this game. A lot of time left.
Now Meyer's going to give it back to Goldstein, trying to beat McCabe to his spot. McCabe takes it away from him, the spot that is. Meyer now against Stouffer, and Goldstein's going to try again. They'll give it back to Meyer. Steve Meyer making the move on Stouffer. Syracuse reacting well. Now they feed the crease,
Oh,
and
save.
Palin with a save.
Great job.
Off the shot of Wurzburger, they can't find the ball, and now Palin gathers it in. We may have interference. Goldstein against Palin. It's illegal procedure, and Syracuse is going to get it.
Nice body save, boy. He really slid and got his chest out in front of that one because you see the move, and that was Meyer. There was the ball down. He made the initial chest save. Let's see what happens here. We didn't have a good angle. Ball down again. He comes up with it. Actually, 2 saves on the same flurry there for Matt Palin. I don't know if they called that last one. Should have been a shot. They tried to poke it in there.
Wurzburger, who took the shot there, had 5 goals against Syracuse in the semifinal game in the NCAA last year. Now back to offense, Zilberti. Zilberti to Egan. Outside Ruse. Gary Gates popping out. Now working without the ball is Gate. Sets the pick. They go to Paul Gate. Paul left hand behind the cage to Egan. Egan starts his move on the hesitation to Zilberti. Zilberti will work even with the goal line. Now back to Burns. Burns up top for Gates shot right into Schmoller, and he nearly lost it into the cage. That was Paul Gates' shot. Syracuse leading at 6-2 with 8.5 minutes to go in the first half.
Big sticks on for Syracuse. Schluter.
Rob Persing getting set to check in. Persing comes on now, number 34, as Schmoller looks to come out of his own end. Persing, another Maryland player, a sophomore out of Perry Hall, Calvert Hall High School.
Once again, they had success before taking the goalie out, not letting him pass to him, forcing the long pass. There's a short one to get it across.
McCormack
Good
dumps
clear.
it across. He gets it to Angotti, has it knocked away, and has to go back to play it. He takes a hit. Zilberti gets to it, but we'll have a whistle to stop the play.
It was a kind of a late call. Let's see what it is.
They're going to send a Syracuse man off.
Egan slash. Oh, they'll be man down. Big time. 1 minute. Jim Egan is discussing the call. Now this is important, I think, for Cornell. They've got a great opportunity. Richie Moran's got to say, guys, don't blow. Let's get back in this game. We're only down 4 goals. Lots of time left. We've got the pace the way we want it. Let's get a goal.
In these man-up situations, each team has scored once. Now Cornell working it clockwise. They'll have the man advantage for a minute. Unless Syracuse can take it away and bring it into the box at the other end. Here's the shot and the score from up top by Mike Cummings. That's Cummings' second goal of the game.
We can hear the goalie yelling 1-4-1. They had 1 man out, 4 guys across, and then the feed by Goldstein. That'll give him an assist. Cummings gets the 3rd goal for Cornell. And they're right back in at 6-3, 7:28. Back to faceoffs.
Mike Cummings has scored a pair of goals for Cornell. And Cornell with their second man-up goal of the game.
This is where your faceoff man can help you out. He can give the momentum right back to you by getting the ball. And conversely, Durgel can take it away by getting it and slowing it, getting the ball to his offense and getting Syracuse back in it.
Off the face, Durgel does his job, and he sends it back to Palin, who has to go high to catch the pass. Stouffer's had trouble all night controlling the ball. Now he sends to the far side, and McNamara. McCabe now with the ball, moving away, looking to give it up, but he can't find a man, so McCabe has to stick handle.
Burns going to have to run out of trouble. They get...
Burns will hit Earl Hall, releasing now, coming into your picture number 7. Earl Hall is going to be doubled. He gives it up before he draws the second man. Now behind to Egan. They stack it up in front. Zilberti working one-on-one against Rossetti. Back it goes to Zilberti. 6:45 to go in the second quarter in a 6-3 game. To Stefano on Zilberti. John leaning against his man.
He's hoping for a hold. Not nice defense. He's going to get
Giants
jumped.
still with the ball. Now he feeds the far wing to Owens. Owens in the crowd to Allen.
Nice play.
Peter Allen gets the goal.
They worked. Zilberti is a magician there. You know what he did? He got the ball. He teased him. He said, look, I'm just going out here, and I'm going to have to get 3 guys on me. And then he finds the open man, Owens, who finds Allen, and Allen Schmoller doesn't have a chance. So Zilberti really set that up. It was a great job by John Zilberti, and Allen puts in the 7th goal for Syracuse. 6:23 left, 4-goal lead for Syracuse, and Durgo back in it now. Will check faceoffs.
Peter Allen has his 10th goal of the year. If we get a close-up look at Allen, you'll notice that he does not wear shoulder pads, and neither does Gary Gate.
Slows him down, they figure. 7-4 for Syracuse in the faceoff department. The last 3 in a row have gone to Syracuse. Nothing yet here. Oh, Cornell gets it. Fast break.
And it is Lizio. Owens is going to try to check him from behind. They get it back to Wurzburger. Switching hands, a weak shot. McNamara slowed down the velocity. Owens in traffic. Owens against 4 men gives it up to McNamara. He has trouble, and with a crown field, the ball rolling away from him. Saved on the sideline. What a job by Durgo. And he gets it up to Dumpson. And Dumpson has it knocked away. Cornell with the ball now. Lizio to Caliendo. Fine play made by Bill Durgo. Now Goldstein has it. Syracuse leading 7-3. Again, this equals their biggest margin of the game.
Well, Hanlon and Cummings and Gotti, check that at the midfield.
Cornell on a weave up at the top of the box. We'll look at it from the end zone view as Caliendo dumps it in front, and Palin was there to pick off the errant pass. Palin pursuing it.
Great job.
Matt gets there first to give Syracuse the ball back.
There was a nice play Cornell ran. They ran it from the top. They ran, as you said, Dave, a little weave. Watch, they pop out. The man's open on the crease, and Goldstein tries to get the garbage. It's a shot. Matt Palin right in front of McNamara blocking off. Good talk, and Matt Palin will have the ball in his stick when they start play.
Gary Gate has not shot in the second quarter. He's hit 2 of 4 in the first. And it's a 7-3 Syracuse lead. Keith Owens got the assist on the last goal. For Cornell, Tim Goldstein with 1 goal and 1 assist. Mike Cummings is a pair of goals. 5 minutes exactly to go in the first half. The Orange get it across with Brad Ruse. He's got a goal in the game. Ruse going to the left hand now. He's played by McDevitt. He goes by McDevitt. He feeds behind. In front. Behind the back and in by Zilberti. John Zilberti with a behind the back shot as he got the pass. And he completely caught Schmoller by surprise in that one.
Well, there's not really much you can do in that situation. All you got to do is you got to play him stick on stick. There's the pass. Zilberti, whoop. And there's really, as I said, there's nothing you can do. All you got to do is you got to play the stick, and that's why he did it. Brian McCormick was there, 33, but the Z took that behind the back shot. Syracuse's 8th goal, his first tonight.
Number 11 on the year for John Zilberti. Zilberti has a goal and 2 assists. He now has 42 points on the year. Gary Gate, the high man, he's got 55 with 2 goals and an assist in the game. And here he is, faking the shot and then shooting a second one considerably wide, but Zilberti closest to it. And Gary's a little bit disappointed with himself. 2 of 5 in the game. Durgle off the field after taking the face. Now Zilberti back for the Orange men with a spin, with a feed, with a shot, and a score by Burns. Zilberti gets another assist, and Burns gets his 2nd goal of the game. Syracuse, a team averaging over 18 a game, now has 9.
That's just basic lacrosse, and that's exactly what Schmoller said. Hey guys, I can't stop those. You're going to have to play a little defense to give me some help there. Schmoller's an excellent goalie.
Burns did a good job of moving without the ball. He got to the spot when Zilberti hit him. He just put a bouncer on net. Now Syracuse exerting themselves on the face-offs. Durgel about to win another one. He'll redirect it. After one dribble, McNamara gives it up to his goalie Palem, and he gets the return. Syracuse now leading 9-3. Here comes McNamara.
They're going to get him. They're going to double him.
They put it in the stick of Gary Gate, who's a tough man to double because he's so fast and strong. Now McCabe switching hands and faking the toss to Ruse. Now he'll give it up to Zilberti. And Gate will come across and get the ball back from John. Here comes Gary into the box. He makes the move. He spins by. He's going to shoot. And Schmoller saves it high. Back comes Gleason. Sticked away from him by Paul Gate. Gleason has it again.
They took away the fast break.
Gleason to Caliendo. Paul Gate is really harassing him.
Good defense. And that was Caliendo looking for a slash. All he got was a brush call.
He made an appeal to the official who said it was a legal attempt. Now with 3 minutes to go in the half, Cornell with the ball looking to settle down and regain some offensive momentum. Goldstein with it. They set a pick and McCabe goes around it. He's on Goldstein like glue.
Got
And now
him
they'll get a delayed call. And the ball changing hands, and now the penalty will be coming up against Pat McCabe.
McCabe caught him on a face mask, and he has played pretty tough defense, but he brought the stick up a little bit.
2-9 orange flashes, 1 minute.
I believe that's the second call against Pat McCabe.
Yep. So far, he has held his rival Goldstein to 1 goal and an assist. You see the man up goal stat. Goldstein going to dribble a little bit. They get it back in.
Stouffer's playing him now with McCabe out.
They'll run it. They have to run a zone now. They're going to slip McNamara out and they shift.
Cornell's had success in the man-up situations. 2.5 to go in the game. There's a shot from outside. Usually they like to go to Cummings in that situation.
Now they worked the ball around, and when they finally got it behind, instead of taking it around, they put it back out to the midfield, and that was Six took the shot. That was Cummings. So.
And he scored twice from that very spot, right straight out in front at the top of the box. Now they'll go counterclockwise and get it to Cummings. O'Hanlon 26. Now Wurzburger and back to Goldstein. They're going counterclockwise now with a man opportunity. Here's a shot from the wing. It's deflected high and wide. Cornell keeps. 2:11 to go first half.
Scaramazzino made that one go high, got his body in front, and they had to
20
take it
seconds,
higher.
my goal. Billy, 20 seconds. Billy, 20 seconds.
20 seconds in this extra man opportunity. 2:11 to go in the half.
I'll let you know they want to take it probably around at least once.
Here they go up top again and right into the midsection of Palem. He didn't have to move his stick to play it. Schluter has it for the Orangemen. Schluter's outlet is too far from McCabe, but we will get a push against Cornell.
John Dusko making that call. Kevin Morgan, I believe, or Moran, I'm sorry, Morgan Moran as I check the roster. On the push.
It's only the coach's son.
That's right. They got a new coach.
Minute 58 to go. Syracuse is going to get it back.
They'll take their time here. They don't want to give up a meaningless goal here and lose a little momentum. 6-goal lead, not impossible to overcome. They want to be very careful.
Now Owens killing some time, giving ground. Now he sends far side to Dumpson. Here comes Rodney Dumpson.
Now they're even.
He gives it up to Peter Allen. And Burns with it now.
Lots of time, minute and a half.
Burns reversing. Cornell calling out some defensive changes. And illegal procedure is called against Syracuse. As Syracuse is making the change, I heard somebody on the Cornell bench yell something to alert an official about a technicality, and then the call was made.
Jim O'Hara is going to Watch, watch, everybody's gonna yell. I love these. These are good.
He'll add 9 minutes.
This is cable television. Can you figure all that out? In essence, what they're saying is we put a man on, we only had 9 men. We put our 10th on.
Is the official home box.
He's got a Cornell jacket.
All we do is substitute that.
It's going to stand, I believe.
Well, it's a close-knit fraternity in lacrosse.
I love it.
We'll see now as the official who is near the bench consults with the other two.
That's Jim O'Hara talking to Walt Munsey, Jake Kern, and this is the first real big discussion we've had. And
you know, they do have a major here at Cornell in labor relations.
yeah, that's right.
And I'll tell you, anybody who's majoring in it ought to attend a lacrosse game because there's a whole lot of negotiating that goes on.
It's going to stay Syracuse ball.
Somebody said thank you.
And I believe Jim O'Hara said that he acknowledged, obviously, if he made a mistake, then they can right things. And Richie Moran said thank you. So,
well, we've got 1:22 to go, and already the clock is on the field. That's the extra official you may see walking along. Owen shoots high, and he scores. To the wide side, the high side, Keith Owens now gives Syracuse a 10-3 lead with his 7th goal of the year.
well, McCormick was trying to defend him, and the thing is, Schmoller was screened, and by the time you see that white 6-ounce ball coming at you, it's probably a little bit too late, and that's exactly what happened. Schmoller's offside for the goal, making that Syracuse's 10th goal, first for Owens.
Who stays on the wing on the face-off with 1:14 to go. This time Lizio wins it from Durgel. Durgel is trying to take the ball away from him, and he does. And they say it's cleanly done by Durgel. Owens has the ball. I guess they stopped play. The ball never did roll out of bounds.
He pushed his stick. It was a ward.
All right.
That's all there is to it. You know what? Durgel does not like to lose. And when he does, he goes right after the people that got the face-off. And that was you saw how that hustle helped out. Syracuse gets the ball back.
With 1:09 to go, Owens legs it in to the attacking half of the field. Now he passes into the corner to Egan. Egan is being played by Rossetti. Egan gives it up. Owens blasts one, and Schmoller plays the rebound. Interference by Peter Allen.
That'll give him a clear. Once you get that ball in your stick, there's a cylinder in there. Nice save, nice rebound, and of course you can't reach in there, not when the goalie's got it.
So with 53 seconds to go, Cornell is going to get the ball, and they would really like to get a score now. Let's see how Syracuse plays them defensively. 45 seconds to go. Goldstein with it. Syracuse leading it by a 10-3 count.
They've got Holbrook on him.
Yeah, Holbrook seeing his first action. Goldstein against Holbrook. He spins free, doesn't have the angle, comes back the other way, shoots high. Clock stops with 31 to go. Cornell retains possession.
Goldstein, nice job really moving back and forth, but Holbrook stayed with him and kept the body position. They're going to get McCabe in now, and we'll see who comes out. I believe it'll be Holbrook, yep. Todd.
Red Dogs.
Corey.
Come on now.
Cornell with 4 losses on the year. The most they've ever had under Richie Moran is 6. In 1984 as Cornell gets on the scoreboard.
I saw that coming.
On the goal by Bill O'Hanlon.
O'Hanlon beat Persing. I believe it's, watch him move. There it is right there. You can see it developing. It's just a sweep one-on-one with Matt Palem.
That's goal number 7 on the year for Bill O'Hanlon. O'Hanlon's out of Canandaigua.
10-4, 26 seconds left. Assist Goldstein. There's the face-off story, 9-6.
Paul
Nice
Gate
job.
giving it up to Pat McCabe. In the midfield area, the ball intercepted with 15 seconds to go. Meyer to Wurtzberger, back to Meyer. He's got a shot, he takes it, it's wide. 8 seconds to go as the clock stops.
That was a mental lapse. They should have just gotten the ball down in the offensive half. I'm sure that's what they tried, but you don't want to give Cornell any life. You got them by 6, leave them there. Don't let them come in with a cheap goal at halftime. That's McCabe and Goldstein.
Now with 4 seconds, 2 seconds, a shot, score! They beat the clock. They did beat the clock, and Mike Cummings gets his 3rd goal of the first half.
Well, they just put Goldstein behind. McCabe was on him, but he couldn't stop the feed. Nice job, but gave him the feed. Goldstein threads the needle, and boy, they just had him. Schluter 4. So that's it. The goal we talked about, 10-5.
Good job as they beat Schluter to the spot, and Goldstein found him. We're at the half in a 10-5 game. Back at Sholkoff Field in Ithaca, Dave Cohen along with Dale Drivepulcher as we come to you once again on Super Sports. The #1 rated lacrosse team in the country, undefeated Syracuse, 8-0, and leading Cornell by a score of 10-5. They led at the quarter, 4-2. And here's a look at the first half statistics. And there's not a whole lot of disparity except when you get down to the face-off statistics, Dale.
Well, Durgel has helped Syracuse. He kept Cornell out of some offensive opportunities, and you know, as I said, it's not a lot of goals. You saw Cornell got 2 goals rather quickly at the end of the game. They got them about just 1 second left, so Cornell is not out of this game at all, and as you said, the statistics are very close.
Syracuse led by Gary Gate. He has 2 goals and an assist. And Cornell being led by Mike Cummings. He scored 3 times as Cornell got 2 goals in the final 26 seconds of the first half to make the game considerably closer at 10-5. Syracuse had a 7-goal lead. So that is the story at the end of the first half, and we'll be back with a second half face-off right after these words. We're getting set now for the second half face-off. Dave Cohen and Dale Drivepulcher. Just before we return, Paul Schmoller, the Cornell goalie, out taking some shots, practicing before the start of the second half, looking to regain the touch he had a year ago against Syracuse when he set a big record of 34 saves. Greatest goalie performance I've ever seen.
It was super, and I think what he wants to do, this is a different Cornell team too, don't forget, but he's got to come up with those spectacular ones that takes the confidence away from the Syracuse offense and gives it back to Cornell. So he's doing a good job, but he figured not good enough, so he took a little bit extra work, as you said, Dave.
Syracuse goes left to right as we begin the third quarter. Bill Durgel and Joe Lizio on the faceoff. Walt Munsey puts it down. And here we go. Syracuse has won 11 of the prior 16 faceoffs. Gary Gate scoops it up. Gary Gate into the box, changing to the left hand. That's his strong side. 3 men dislodge him from the ball. Brother Paul picks it up. Paul back in close. Gary scores.
Oh, they mugged him, man. They really mugged him before that. They had him on the ground. They let him up. His brother got it and refed him, and that was all she wrote.
And so the second half begins just as the first half did, with a goal by Gary Gate.
Here it is. Watch. In the head, in the body, down on the ground. Now stay there. Nope, too bad. Paul picks it up. Gary gets back up. Give me the ball, man. Schmoller, too bad. Really a fast-paced game, as you can see, and it happens that quickly. How much time did that take? 17 seconds.
Gary Gate gets his 3rd goal of the game. He's jockeying for position along with Tim McDevitt on the wing. Up at the top of the screen. Gate has had games of 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4, 3, and 7 goals this year.
He's getting all the faceoffs from the wing, too. Durgel's controlling it, and Gate's coming in and taking the ball.
And here comes Gary feeding it to his brother Paul, and he tried to return the favor, but the save made by Schmoller.
Got down low, ball bounded up high, but there was a stick on that.
Neither Gary nor Paul Gate played high school lacrosse because his school didn't have a lacrosse team.
They developed pretty well.
Amazingly, Gary told me he never played hockey. Here's Paul Gate His shot deflected in the air, and Syracuse keeps it again.
Pretty good defense there. That was Rossetti right on him, trying to poke the hand and just keep the body in front of him, and Z gets the ball out, Burns.
The Gate brothers did play a lot of soccer. Here's Zilberti. He's had the most scintillating goal of the game, a behind the back shot. Now Burns shoved away by McCormick. Feeds it across the box, nobody there to play it.
He shakes his head as he comes off. It was not obviously what he wanted to do. He thought there was going to be somebody there, but it went out of bounds.
We're a minute and 9 seconds into the second half. Syracuse leading it 11-5. Last year, Cornell went through the regular season undefeated. Went to the championship game against Johns Hopkins and lost it by a single goal. Now Scaramuzino and friends trying to take the ball away. It's on the ground. O'Hanlon in pursuit. He had a goal near the end of the first half.
You know, you get that big stick down there, you're really at a disadvantage, but that's Persing. He's going to redirect, get way back, give it to the goalie.
Persing picked it up. His momentum was going the opposite way. They redirected to Palem. Look at the way they move the ball around. Now Syracuse on offense. They carry it down to Zilberti. Zilberti makes the move. He beats a man. He shoots. A save by Schmoller.
Nice save by Schmoller. Waist high. Up with it. Fast break transition.
The outlet to DeStefano. Down the other way we come. DeStefano feeding it to Meyer. He fanned on the shot. And McCabe takes it down. Pat McCabe dribbles it. McCabe handles the stick very well for a freshman defenseman. Giving it up to Persing.
He goes right down with the stick up, and then he'll get him off and get some shorter sticks down there.
Peter Allen comes on as Persing departs.
That's the stuff you don't see all the time going on. It's people in and out of the box.
Zilberti makes the one-on-one move. He's not apt to shoot it very often. Now Earl Hall with Keith Owens. Owens has it number 1. He'll cross into the box. Behind the cage to Egan. Now Zilberti. Always easy to spot with those orange high tops against McCormack. He likes to hold the ball in these situations, draw the defense. He gets it to Owens. Owens puts it on the left hand. Intercepted. Owens tried to regain it. McCormick bats it out to midfield. Syracuse tries to keep it in the offensive half of the field. Earl Hall is there. Knocked away from Hall. Owens loses it, puts his head down. Hall comes onside with it. Knocked out of bounds. Cornell ball. Helped up is Earl Hall by Pat Leahy.
Nice bit of sportsmanship as the body begins to get a lot of play here in the second half with 11:49 left, third quarter. There's Coach Simmons, Eric Jeske, one of his assistants. Man has done a lot for the sport, as did his dad, and he's got to hope he can keep the momentum they've had so far this season.
Is that Dave Desco on the sideline along with John?
Well, there's so many of them. They're always at lacrosse games, so.
Cornell ball and a long pass intercepted by Syracuse. The Orangemen in transition, a blindsided hit. McCabe bounces right back up. It was Patain who got hit and bounced up. The Cornell crowd enjoyed that. Patain no worse for the wear.
Just adjust his face mask, maybe unbend a bar or two.
And count your teeth.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, they're all here.
Caliendo has it. Scaramuzino is on him. Changing directions on Scaramuzino. Sending back behind for Goldstein, who has to go high to pull it down, and it's taken away by McCabe.
He's going to be in trouble.
Whoa. Palem gets checked. He's fair game out of the nets. Now McCabe has it.
They were looking for Palem, and they were going to jump him with two guys. Goldstein playing defense now, 15 in the lower left-hand corner. Syracuse got the people on. Now going to take the time and bring it up on a clear.
And it's Matt Palem. Brad Roos coming on now, number 3. Signal to Palem. He was available if Matt wanted to throw it his way. Now Palem cautiously goes to the far side. Across they go to Paul Gate against Matt Gleason. Gate very strong with the ball. Cross the box? No. He goes to 22. Now to Roos. Roos, low shot, score. Gary Gate drew the defense to him, and he fed Brad Roos for the goal. And it's the second assist of the game now for Gary Gate. And Ruse has his second score.
Yep, it was a real screen job as Roos pops out on the other side, and really not much from that angle to see, but that's what Roos got to see as he took a shot past Schmoller, who was screened.
And for the second time in his brief Syracuse career, Brad Ruse has scored a pair of goals in a game. He had 2 against Hobart last game. He's also had 2 against Cortland earlier this year, so it's now 3 times. And Syracuse again has that 7-goal lead, their biggest of the game.
12-5 in the face-off department as Durgel and Gate have really, now we got both brothers on the wings. There's Richie Moran. Got to wonder what he's got to do, and one of the things he's got to do is try to come up with a face-off. Syracuse more than 2 times as many.
12-5 is the score as well.
You watch and see if Gate doesn't come in. What Durgel's been doing is controlling the draw and then just screening off who's ever facing off against him and letting his wingmen pick it up.
He's been sending it back between his legs more often than not. He does it again, and he tries to cover it up, and he raked it in momentarily. Cornell tries to come out of there with it, but it's going to be picked up by Paul Gate.
Boy, draws the
He
crowd.
runs away from the crowd as he finds Durgel. Durgel in close to Burns. He couldn't play it cleanly. Burns is back there to try to save it. He stepped across. Cornell ball.
Durgel dished it off, but he lost the handle. Burns and the ball out of bounds to Cornell. Actually, it was a kind of a high pass. There's Bill Durgel, who has really been dominating, along with his wingmen, the face-offs tonight, which really does help.
9.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Schmoller, who's had himself a better third quarter save-wise. Cornell trying to come out of their own end. Syracuse's Egan, or is it Ruse? Deflected it twice, knocked it out of bounds, and because of that, it is Egan. The Orange will get it back.
It is Jim Egan, who really has been playing well, a sophomore out of Yorktown. You know, the scary thing about the Syracuse team is they're very young. Not many seniors that I can think of on the squad.
The Gate brothers are sophomores. Ricky Kramer on now, goes to the right hand. Stop and go move. Guarded by Paul Shea. Now it's Egan, played behind by Rossetti. Egan playing a lot more 1-on-1 in this game. Tries for the jumper. Rebound is stick in or behind the cage. It's behind, and Schmoller gets it out to Shea. Back he goes to McDevitt. Splits the defense. McDevitt goes by a third man. He's strong with the ball. Goes by a fourth man. Plays with the right hand. He'll send behind. Goldstein has it there. Goldstein knocked out of the game in the second quarter with a cut nose. He's been back ever since. Now Angotti. O'Hanlon, who has a goal, has it now, 26. Sends his wingman through. O'Hanlon working 1-on-1. O'Hanlon to the left hand against Kramer, and coming over there is McNamara to steal it. Now Kramer with Owens to his right. Kramer's going to be doubled. He loses the ball back to O'Hanlon. Cornell can't come out of their own end cleanly, not yet at least. Syracuse continuing to apply pressure now to the near side to Stefano.
And they're putting in a lot of people, Dave. Kramer, you know, they're getting people in who play and rest the other guys, and it's just that's what really hurts when you get up against Syracuse, when they get all those bodies in there who play. They tire you out.
Now they slow it down with Angotti just outside the box. Owens is his opposite number. Angotti gives it up to Cummings, who has 3 goals in the game, all in the first half. Cornell has not scored yet in this third quarter. We're midway through, 7.5 to go. The move behind the cage. The pick set for Goldstein. Here he comes in front. He gives it up. Deflected and taken down by Owens. A lot of orange jerseys in there. Owens is going to try to run by Goldstein. Nice change of direction move by Keith Owens. He still has it. Goldstein went down. Owens gives it up. He spots a man. It is Kramer. Kramer now to Zolberti. Goldstein is still down, and he can't get up. Goldstein may have a Charlie horse. He's down, and an official timeout. He cannot get up.
He went down quickly, and you said he rolled over. They looked to make sure that he was all right. When he couldn't get up, they stopped play.
This is the kind of night when you can get a Charlie horse because it's getting cooler. The game's starting in daylight. And Owens really put a couple of moves on him, really screwed him into the ground.
Well, Goldstein numbers, I think he's got 3 assists tonight and 1 goal. So he is really statistically coming in. He had 19 points, 6 goals, 13 assists. So he's really having a pretty good night. He's not having a real good year, but I think that he has really taken some physical abuse tonight. I think the Charlie horse, as you said, and of course we saw him earlier, you can still see the blood on his jersey where he got a nose kind of cut up a bit.
Playing in pain at both ends, upstairs and downstairs now for Tim Goldstein. Just under 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. Syracuse leading at 12-5. Gary Gate has it in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. Will he go one-on-one? Leahy's playing him. There comes Gate. He'll go behind. Let's see if they clear out for him. Gary Gate. Now he feeds, and the shot is saved by Schmoller. Brooke Chase came across to get the feed, and it was just a brilliant save by Schmoller.
Yeah, as I was going to say, Syracuse has got to say a good look. You played it right. You saw the open man. You got the ball to him. It just didn't go. We'll try it again. You got a good goalie. You're going to have to take a good shot on him. There's the looking. Who's open? And then Chase makes the run across the goal mouth and just got a stick on it. Schmoller deflected it.
Back we come to action now as Brian McCormack is about to get hit, but he's strong and he knocked Patain out of the way, and then McCormack is dumped. The big stick of Patain sending it back. Now they loop it back to him. He has to choke up to try to play it. He can't. But back there is Hotailing.
Schluter also looking for another goal.
Schluter had 2 in the last game, so Birdie uses a pick by Chase. Here he comes for the wraparound, and it's in there. Beautiful job by Zilberti.
Especially beautiful because they had 2 guys on him, and he just took that left-handed wrap shot. And the Z gets another goal. Watch him. There's the move. He's got McCormick as the last man on him. He beat DeStefano. John Zilberti, 2 goals, 2 assists.
And 2 beautiful goals, a behind the backer and a wrap shot just there. With 6:05 to go, it's the biggest lead of the game. We're in the third quarter. Syracuse leading by 8.
I mentioned Syracuse has had 8 different people score tonight, really spreading it around, and that's nice when you can look down there and see when you're coming and scouting Syracuse and saying, geez, they got 8 guys who score, and that happens not just in this game, but in a lot of games. They get a lot of people in the scoring column.
Good look at Gate and Shea as Durgel wins another faceoff and dumps it on the far side. Played into the box, but taken away by Cornell. And a whistle at the midfield line. Somebody was offsides. Who was it? Syracuse. Cornell gets the ball.
That'll be a 30-second penalty.
A technical is the call.
John Desko looks like he doesn't believe the explanation there. Kevin Donahue. They get Schluter in there. That's what they wanted. They wanted their people in. Schluter just made it in, and they're going to put the ball in play as Cummings has got it.
Cummings had 3 goals in the first half. John Heil is on now, number 10. Cummings with the ball now. He likes to shoot from right out in front, just inside the line that delineates the box. Quick stick pass. Cornell will keep it. Wurzburger really hasn't seen all that much action.
He took a nice shot, but good follow by Palem. Kept the body in front of the goal.
Cornell with the man up. Richie Moran checked how much time remained. Up top they go. Here's where Cummings likes to shoot from. This time they play him. They go to the wing, to the goal, back to the cutter. The cutter is Caliendo, and there's McCabe. And it's Palem outletting it now to Persing. Persing bounces off the defender. Syracuse transitioning well. The teams will be at equal strength. Now they tried to feed the man coming on Scaramuzzino. It's off his stick, out of bounds. And a flag is down.
That'll be against Cornell. Jim O'Hara made the call. See what it is. I guess they gave a verbal cue.
Thrown in the bench area.
Say 1-3-2. They'll have 3 guys on the crease, 1 man behind, and 2 out front by the restraining line. So they say 1-3-2, and they get it to the wingman, and he makes, that's Gate. He really went way over Zilberti's head.
An unforced error by Gary Gate. You don't see that too often these days in lacrosse by any of these Division I teams. He just threw it over the head of Zilberti.
You know, we used to see that a lot. We used to have to use the old-fashioned sticks, Dave, and also if the weather got there, you know, those sticks would stretch and stuff. But with these new ones, well, I tell you, there's something else. Real pieces of technology.
I can remember games up in the North Country, Clarkson, where you'd try to pick up a ball and you'd come up with a stick full of mud.
That's right. Take a shot, thinking it went in, it was a big ball of mud.
Schmoller out of the nets briefly. 4.5 minutes to go in the third quarter as Cornell comes up the sideline down by 8 goals. This is Angotti, sticked away by Schluter. Syracuse doing a great job of using the stick to poke check the ball out. Rob Persing will send back to Matt Palem. Well, he's all over the field, isn't he, Matt Palem?
Yep. He has had a good game, I think. He played well, and the defense has helped him out, and they've kept people away from him, and he gets a chance to regroup. He's done a nice job of setting up the clears. That's something else the goalie has to do.
Now let's see. He's got Owens to his right. Owens coming over now. And he's going to dump it to Owens, who tries to beat his man. Owens goes down, loses the ball. He's in pursuit of it, but McDevitt has it. Here comes McDevitt toward the box. He's got a man open on the right wing. He goes left instead. Still holding the ball. He's strong. McDevitt giving it up now behind the cage. Goldstein gets it to the near side. Goldstein back outside now to Caliendo. McDevitt faked like he was heading off. Caliendo makes the move on Allen, and he throws it away.
Those are the things that can hurt you. Get the opportunities when you got a team that has not allowed you to get many shots off at all in the third quarter. You want to make sure that you get some shots. You got to get back into your offensive game, and Syracuse defense has done their job, and Cornell helped them there by throwing the ball away.
Syracuse leading it 13-5, 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Again, Palem walks it up slowly. He'll be challenged briefly by John Heil. McNamara in the middle of Owens. Owens has McCabe open at midfield. They break the press, if you will. Brooke Chase has it. Owens comes onside as McCabe goes back. Now to Earl Hall against Leahy and Gleason. Brooke Chase giving it up to Owen. Zilberti is going to go behind the cage.
Now Syracuse will take their time and run a nice half-field game, 6-on-6.
Hoteling, 13 on the move. Use the pick. Here he comes. Mark Hoteling. Right into the midsection of Schmoller, who made the save. Bodies go down. Syracuse scoops it up. It's Hoteling. He lost it to McCormick, who kicks it ahead. And it's kept in bounds. McCormick losing it. McCabe took a shot on the head. McCabe racing it in. McCabe to Allen. Allen with Hoteling ahead. Tried to get it to Zilberti, who plays it on the bounce. Zilberti coming outside the box. Zilberti going inside the box. Minute 50 to go. Zilberti against Leahy.
Zilberti looking for a midi to break, and he gets him.
He gets it to Earl Hall. They'll make the move on Lizio. Hall with a left-handed shot. Syracuse retains possession.
Talk about Syracuse domination in the third period. That's Syracuse's 8th shot. Cornell has gotten off 1. So Syracuse really dominating and taking the offensive initiative away from Cornell in the third quarter.
Cornell has not scored in this quarter.
They've only gotten, as we said, 1 shot off. That's good defense.
There's the time remaining in this third quarter. Syracuse has had 3 goals. Gate, Ruse, and Zilberti. They all came in the opening 8 minutes of this quarter. Now a minute 20 to go. Cornell sitting back defensively. Here's the move being made. Zilberti, he'll pass it up to the cutter Chase. Chase will go to Dumpson, perhaps. No, he keeps it. Now it loses it on the floor, taken away by DeStefano. Dumpson goes for the steal, or Alt does. And Syracuse successful as Neil Alt into the game for the first time, one of the co-captains. He'll trigger the play in.
.101 left.
Ball coming in from the upper right-hand corner. Neil Alt has it. You look at it from behind the Cornell cage. There's the stop and go by Ricky Kramer. He feeds over the head of the intended man Burns. And Schmoller sends a long outlet. It's intercepted by Stouffer, but he loses it. Goldstein tried to come up with it. McNamara upfield quickly to Alt. Alt headmanning Burns. Burns looked for a man in the slot, couldn't find him, so he goes to Zilberti instead. Zilberti changing directions on Leahy. He feeds. Alt scores! Neil Alt got the pass from Zilberti, and the Syracuse senior co-captain makes it a 14-5 game.
Neil Alt, one of the co-captains. Nice to see him, as you said, Dave, not getting a lot of playing time. Syracuse serving youth, as the expression goes. Zilberti, nice pass, gets an assist. And that's the 9th guy to score for Syracuse this evening. 14th goal for Syracuse.
Neil Alt playing less but scoring more. He has his 8th goal of the year. That's more than he had in his 3 previous seasons. Co-captain out of Lutherville, Maryland. Attended Delaney High School. Off the face-off, Lizio and Durgel. Durgel from a knee tried to clamp down at it. Gary Gate comes up with it. Gary Gate ahead to brother Paul. Down close they go. Burns knocked off the play by McCormick. Can they beat the clock? Cornell did at the end of the second quarter.
There's Durgel.
Durgel spinning for the left-handed shot, deflected, saved by Schmoller, and he guns it out of there. And the third quarter has come to an end with a score, Syracuse 14 and Cornell 5. As we begin the fourth quarter, Syracuse has their biggest lead of the game, 9 goals. A year ago, Cornell defeated Syracuse 19-6 in the Carrier Dome, and then 18-15 in the NCAA semifinal. Here's the season to date for Cornell. They opened up with a pair of wins, then they lost 3 goals, each by 1. 3 games, each by 1 goal, and then they were soundly trounced by Pennsylvania. The loss to Yale was in overtime. So Cornell has already lost more goals, more games in the Ivy League than they ever have before.
In that third quarter, the Big Red did not win a face-off and got 1 shot off. That's kind of a telling statistic, and Syracuse ended up with 11 shots and won 5 face-offs, I believe, in the third quarter alone. So that is difficult to overcome. They've got 1 quarter left to do it, 9-goal deficit.
Lizio wins the face. The official went down at midfield. Lizio coming in, saving it is Palem, and raking it in is Palem, and outletting it is Palem. Quickly to Paul Gate. Syracuse in transition. Paul Gate blowing by Gleason. He's dumped, and he scores. Give Matt Palem a lot of credit on that. He made the save, he raked it in, he outletted it to Gate, and Paul was not to be denied. 15-5. Palem and Stouffer talking it over. Certainly not commiseration there, is it?
No, you know, there's one I tell them, they finally win a face-off and they go down and get 1 shot off. Well, that's what a good goalie can do for you. Not only stop the shot, but start the transition game. And then Gate, going frontwards at about 60 miles an hour, managed to push it by Schmoller.
And there is Paul on the far wing. Here's the face going back to Gary Gate. Gary gets the double. He gets it up ahead to Durgel. Durgel motoring it into the box. He gives it up to Paul Gate. Shoots, save. Paul with a rebound. Underhand feed. Shot, score again. That may be a record for the fastest goals by one player in succession.
We'll check the time and see if we can get it, but boy, it was quick. But there's a real lot of desire. Durgel gets it, bang, save. Picks it up, bang, shot, goal.
So Paul Gate now has equaled Gary Gate. And we've got a timeout taken by Cornell. Syracuse up 16-5. Coming into the game, Syracuse had goals this season by 24 different men, and they've had 10 different goal scorers in this game alone. They lead it now 16-5. Paul Gate with 2 goals, Gary Gate with 3, so they have, between them, equal the goal total of Cornell. It is 16-5.
Gary Gate from the back. Get a good look at him. If you get a good look at him, you get a good look at Paul because they look exactly alike.
Identical twins, although a little bit of a difference in weight.
They
Paul, the
certainly
bigger of the two.
picked up speed from last year. It looks.
Bill Durgel this time wins the face from Lizio going forward. Syracuse scored 2 goals in 16 seconds. Zoberti. It's going to be a delayed call against Cornell, using the pick by Hotailing. Out to Gary Gate. They swing it to Brooke Chase. Chase losing the ball. Now we'll get the extra man opportunity.
That Rossetti slash city there. There's the, can't use the free arm. You hit the free arm a couple of times. Look at you one little kind of adjustment check, but then you better get off the free arm, and you got a 1 minute slash.
1 minute.
Now John Zoberti back behind. Out front to Jim Egan. Syracuse working the ball around with the extra man. They look to Zoberti. He disdained the shot momentarily. Boy, he switches left hand to right hand about as quickly as anybody I've seen.
Very, very fast. Good stick. Only a junior.
It's going to Zoberti's way again, behind the cage, up top. Burns, back to Zoberti, coming in! Sneaking in the back door was John Zoberti. That was a thing of beauty. They lost track of Zoberti, and he got the return feed, and the Z gets his 3rd goal of the game.
Yeah, you got to see this in the replay because it's hard to see it regularly. He comes by, and he gets the nice feed from Gate. Look at that, 3 moves, and he puts it by. Schmoller, DeStefano tried to get in there, but that's just a one-on-one.
What a game he is having, John Zoberti.
3 goals, 4 assists.
(17-5). This game reminiscent of the blowout that Syracuse suffered at the hands of Cornell in the Dome last year.
They lost to them twice. You're absolutely right. They did not have much success against Cornell. I think they're trying to get it all back tonight.
And it's not likely they'll meet again this year.
As we said, the Big Red really had to do or die with this game, and it appears that, at least at this point, they will probably have a good deal of trouble making the NCAAs.
By the way, the Syracuse record for points in a game is 12. Tim Nelson had 4 goals and 8 assists against Cortland in 1984. Zoberti has 3 and 4, so he's got quite a ways to go. Tim Goldstein against Pat McCabe. It's a matchup we've seen throughout. Pass up top intended for Angotti. Player slipping down and getting back up with Scaramuzzino. Now Caliendro trying Owens. Owens with a push. Legal. Around the crease goes Caliendo, and Owens is with him every step of the way.
Working on him. Nice defense.
Palin helping him out verbally.
Oh yeah, he tells them where they are and tells them where the picks are, and everybody talks down there. So you can hear him saying, "Cutter, watch the pick behind, left behind." There's a pick.
And Gotti, and it's saved. The marker's down, and we've got an injured Cornellian. About the third Cornell player to go down tonight. Caliendro is the man who went down.
Watch, it's a pick. Watch the pick on Scaramazzino. Scaramazzino just boom. And he's down, unnecessary roughness.
So Caliendo will depart.
He'll take a little rest as Scaramazzino right into him on the pick.
Syracuse leading it 17-5, and taking a physical toll against Cornell as well. After the Hobart game, Dave Urich, the coach of Hobart, thought that Syracuse physically was quite strong as a result of weightlifting, and it really showed in loose ball, ground ball situations. That ball is not handled by Wurzburger, and the Orangemen will get it.
Syracuse still down. In the penalty box, so they'll undoubtedly be doubled on the ball.
Keith Owens will begin the play on the near sideline. It'll go all the way cross field, and he hits a man at midfield. That's Schluter, knocked away from him by Ngati. Cornell picks it up, redirects. Schmoller gets the pass from Rossetti. Up he goes now to Ngati. And Getty went by Brooke Chase. Cummings is coming on now. They go to Caliendo. He doesn't see Cummings behind him. O'Hanlon gets the return. Now they put it in the stick of Cummings. He fakes the shot, passes even with the crease. Here's a shot. It hit the side of the cage. Goldstein with a rebound. Up top he goes where Cummings likes it. He loses the ball as he tried to step in. Nice shovel ahead to Patain from Schluter. David Patain leading the break. Patain fires.
That's white ball, Cornell ball. It's tough on the fast break, big stick to get any kind of backup, and took a pretty good shot, but they won't get another one.
So John Schmoller from behind.
Schmoller with the ball on his stick, going to take it out to the wing.
Syracuse using a lot of men in this game, as has been their style all season long. And Zilberti taking a run at Schmoller. An obligatory hit.
Yeah. Well, this is a body contact sport.
Zilberti is ragging McCormick. Where does John get all this energy?
I don't know.
Schmoller's out of the cage, almost to midfield before he dumps it off. Caliendo has it. O'Hanlon running ahead of him.
Settled it right down now. Really difficult to score in bunches.
Goldstein motoring by McCabe, shooting, and it's Palin for the save. He reaches over the top to pull it down and outlet it to Scaramazzino. Nice job by Matt Palin. Now Rob Persing gets it as Scaramazzino heads off. Ricky Kramer's coming on. Cornell has not scored a goal since the last second of the first half. They've gone about 22 minutes now without a score. Brooke Chase on the move against McCormick. Chase carrying it behind, and a whistle stops play. It's a violation against Syracuse.
So he was holding the ball. I didn't catch exactly what it was, although it will cost Syracuse possession. Well, you look at Palin's numbers, by the way, and that great save he made. That's his 14th. He's looked very good, and more importantly, not more importantly, I should say, but just as importantly, he has started the transition game and has played very, very well and found his men. And he's really seasoning this year and getting the experience that they knew that he needed, and has responded very well.
Palin was the guy who was victimized last year by Goldstein on those 9 assists, at least most of them. Now Cornell down by 12 goals with 9 minutes to go, and they turn it over again. McNamara coming out of his own end. Schluter having trouble playing it. Goldstein's there to bother him. Cornell's ball.
Off of a Schluter stick. And they will get an opportunity. As you said, Cornell has not scored this half. 8:59 left in the fourth quarter. They got off 3 shots so far in this quarter. Or excuse me, in this quarter.
Gary Gate only has 3 goals in the game. That ties his season's low against Hofstra. Kevin Moran guarded by Stouffer.
Oh.
Now to Goldstein. He feeds the crease. The shot is high, and the Orangemen are going to get it.
You know what I noticed about Goldstein is when he sees the man who's open, he releases the ball very quickly. He's able to get the ball, finds the open man, and gets rid of the ball immediately. There's the move. That's Moran. Ball back to Goldstein, and then Goldstein, you just saw the end of it there as he tried to hit Wurzburger.
8.5 minutes remaining. Matt Palin's been in the nets all the way.
Matt sends McCabe across.
And they get it into the box now. In the stick of McCabe, he wants to shoot low. McCabe doesn't shoot very often, but he tried it that time.
Got a nice shot off, a little sidearm low shot with that big 72-inch.
It's only his second shot of the year. Very disciplined young man.
Elmont High School, Elmont, Long Island.
John Silberti comes out of the game and he gets a big round of applause. The Z-Man departs with 3 goals, 4 assists. Rodney Dumpson of the stop and go there. Now to Kramer. Hoteling will get it behind. They feed the crease and Hoteling gets it back. Into the slot, there's a push. Ball goes back to Kramer. Syracuse handling it very well. Dumpson ducks in, ducks out.
You can hear that fiberglass and aluminum as they make contact. Great sound.
Greg Burns has a pair of goals, is knocked away from the ball. Syracuse in pursuit and they pick it up.
Long pass, way away. Syracuse getting a lot of young people in. Hoteling, sophomore.
Jason Picorni is in the game for the first time, freshman out of Scarsdale, New York.
As I look down that roster, the seniors, Roos is a senior, Owens is a senior, Neil Alt is a senior, Brent Jefferson, and of course Bill Durgel, who has really just become a dominant force in faceoffs this year for Syracuse.
That's the time remaining in the game. Syracuse paying back Cornell, at least for one of the losses last year. Schmoller, sideline McCormick. He loses it, and the Orange will take it. Credit Hoteling with the defensive pressure. He'll depart now as Earl Hall, Peter Allen come on.
You know, Cornell had a real good basis back. Of course, they had Goldstein back, and they had Schmoller back, but they had some key positions to fill, and that was going to be the big question mark.
Burns outside the Hall. He'll go right against Gleason. Back behind the cage is Syracuse. There's a move by Picorni, 6'2" freshman. Now a good move around the crease and a gorgeous goal. Syracuse's 18th of the game. And it's Greg Burns who comes up with number 3 for him.
Greg Burns going to get the pass from Picorni, and he just moves there on Schmoller, and he actually took number 33 McCormick with him.
Greg Burns now has himself a new career high with 3 goals in this game. 18-5. Sophomore out of Janesville DeWitt, Greg Burns.
Excellent player, getting, again, that experience. We said Syracuse plays good number of players. Of course, Burns has played regularly.
Dale, I don't believe we've seen Jeff Hall in the game.
No, out of Fayetteville Manly's High School, son of Coach Tom Hall of Fayetteville Manly's.
He's a sophomore, lettered a year ago, but we have not seen him play in this game. He is dressed, he is on the sideline. We've got 6:15 to go. Syracuse out to a commanding 18-5 lead.
You know, coming into the season, the defense was a question mark. They felt they had a good attack, and they lost some good midfielders, which really is a glue for a good lacrosse team, and I think it hurt them a little bit more than perhaps they thought.
Orange back on the attack again off the stick of Dumpson. Syracuse just winning all the foot races to the loose balls right now. Cornell lost it. Kramer got it back. Burns being checked closely by Gleason, and now out to Alt. And coming in and being dumped was Dumpson. Rodney Dumpson perhaps thought he'd have a one-on-one opportunity, and he was taken down from behind by Tim McDevitt.
A little frustration on McDevitt's part, I think. Just to, figured, hey, he's got me beat. I might as well just give him a shot. We'll play man down for 30 seconds and see what happens.
Syracuse's largest margin of victory this year has been 13 against Brown and against Hofstra. And right now it's 13 against Cornell. And we've got a timeout taken with 5:42 to go. And Syracuse comfortably in front, 18-5. As always, we'd love to hear from you wherever you happen to be watching Super Sports tonight. Drop us a line, care of Cook Cablevision at 500 South Salina Street, Syracuse. The zip code is 13202. Hope you're enjoying Division I lacrosse, absolutely at its best. And coming up on many of these same Super Sports stations, the University of Massachusetts at Syracuse. And we suggest you check your local listings for the time and place, and you'll see that game in your area.
University of Massachusetts, generally a pretty good game for Syracuse, especially when they get Syracuse down there. Syracuse a good following this year, great attendance in the Dome. And they got some people who made the trip down Route 81 to see Coach Simmons and his lacrosse team take on Richie Moran and the Big Red of Cornell.
After this game, Syracuse goes on the road to Rutgers and then to the University of Pennsylvania, where Penn has another former Syracuse player, Brad Kotz, as an assistant coach. Syracuse got reacquainted with Tim Nelson, an assistant in North Carolina, Tom Corey here at Cornell, and they'll catch up with Kotz at Penn. So we've got 5:42 remaining. The Orangemen with the ball, moving in close for an attempt. Schmoller with a save. The ball ricochets out to Burns. Burns picks it up. Burns has it. He goes into the slot for the shot, saved by Schmoller against Allen. And Paul Schmoller quickly outlets it to DeStefano. Egan gets back on defense. Looping pass for Caliendo. Syracuse going to swarm after him. Paul Gate tries to knock it away. He does, but we get a whistle.
That was a call by the bench official. I was looking in the other direction, didn't see what the call was. Must have been an illegal substitution.
On the Syracuse sideline, backup goalie Lee Hyde warming up. Lee's a freshman from Relay, Maryland. St. Paul's High School. Relay, Maryland. Wonder where that is.
You know a little bit about Maryland. It's got me stumped.
John Heil feeding inside. Quick stick, and there's the goal by Wurzburger. The first Cornell goal of the second half.
Another assist by Goldstein.
25 minutes of the second half, without a goal, and now Lee Hine will replace Matt Palem in the Syracuse nets. There's a look at Tom Corey, who set the Syracuse record with 56 goals in one season a couple of years ago. Now an assistant coach here at Cornell under Richie Moran. Lee Hine is in the nets.
Ball out on the wing. Cornell up with it.
Tim Goldstein got the assist, his fourth of the game. Now we've got 4 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. Now we'll see if Lee Hine is to be tested in the nets. Wurtzberger working one-on-one. Wurtzberger gives it up. You hear Lee Hine yelling right behind. Goldstein against McCabe. Goldstein coming way out, looking for the angle for his shot. Weak shot, deflected. Cornell keeps.
Good backup by Kevin Moran. There's
Matt Palem's night is done.
Check how many saves Matt ended up with. 14. Check. 15 saves.
There's Goldstein shaking free momentarily. His shot and a score by Tully, Paul Tully. Another assist for Tim Goldstein. And Lee Hine is indoctrinated in the Syracuse nets. 18-7 now. And Syracuse sending on some more fresh faces and jerseys. Bob Smith, a junior defenseman out of CBA, makes his home in Manly, is coming in. Spells his name S-M-Y-T-H. Bob Smith coming in on defense.
Oh, Goldstein breaking into the scoring column with that other assist. Not breaking in, but really putting a big dent in it, getting probably the most points I think he has gotten so far this year. He only had 19 coming in.
Face-off violation. Kirk Pratt was out to take the face, and Syracuse will get it. He's congratulated by Kirk Pratt against Joe Lizio there on the face was Pratt.
Well, Pratt's the future because Durgel's a senior. He's going to be gone next year, and as we said, he's up to almost 70% of his face-offs.
Paul Cannon with the ball now for Syracuse, number 20. Cannon's out of Yorktown. Giving it up now. Number 40 in the game is Dennis Simmons out of Madison, Connecticut, a sophomore. He makes the move, loses the ball, tries to golf it back in play. Picorni is there, he kicks it ahead. Picorni sees it going to the stick of Burns. Picorni heads behind and gets the feed from Burns. Jason Picorni going to the far side. Down he goes. Picked up by number 17, Jim Poley, a sophomore from Yorktown. Now it's out near midfield, and Simmons has it with 3:10 remaining.
A lot of pushing and shoving on the crease.
The outcome of this game hardly in doubt at this point. Cannon.
Great name for a guy who's got a good
Poley.
shot.
Yeah, it is. You haven't really seen his shot. Poley went to shoot, but he lost control. Now McDevitt is very strong. Gets it to Schmoller. After this one, Cornell is home for games against both Dartmouth and Hobart. After 8, Hobart is the favor in this year's matchup.
Should be an interesting game, though.
2.5 minutes remaining.
Schmoller, who has gone the whole way, gets the ball out, gets a break to McDevitt.
Cornell has been pretty much a defensive team, but they did surrender 19 goals against Pennsylvania. Loose play now at midfield, and it rolls out of bounds with 2 minutes and 2 seconds to go.
That was Rossetti that had that ball before for Cornell. Out of bounds at any rate, Syracuse will take over.
Nice cut, Scotty. Nice cut, Scotty.
A cleanly played game. Neil Ault coming on now. Off the stick dumps in and rolling back toward midfield. Dale, if you had to pick and most valuable or outstanding player for Syracuse in this game, who would it be? Kramer scores. Ricky Kramer becomes the 11th different man to score in this game.
Well, you know, the defense played, it was really a team effort. It's hard to pick it out. The defense played exceptionally well. Durgel did a great job getting face-offs, and you saw a lot of the net moving just like that from Kramer, because we had, 11 different guys now score for Syracuse, and that's impressive.
19-7 is the score. I guess I'd have to think of Zilberti.
Now, there's you can make a case for Zilberti. Certainly, he played excellent. He always does. Plays defense. Face-off stat right there. It really is an important stat in how the game goes.
Cornell had a new face-off man in the game that time. Into the final minute, 25 seconds. And Shea lost it right on the sideline, but Cornell is going to keep it. No, now they say Syracuse ball. Jeff Hall is in the game now in the final minute 19, number 16. Cornell is about to lose for the 5th time this year. They've only suffered 5 losses once and 6 losses once in Richie Moran's years at Cornell. He's been here since 1969.
A couple of national championships.
There's a shot that goes wide behind the cage off the stick of Matt Moore. Under a minute to go now. Moore is excellent size at 6'2", 200 pounds. He's a freshman out of Fayetteville Manlius.
You know, I want to just check that. Richie Moran's had 3 national champions here, 71, 76, and 77. 2 back-to-back. Those were impressive years.
Missed by 1 goal last year. He lost 11-10.
That's right.
Undefeated going into the championship game. 45 seconds to go. Ball knocked out of bounds. Syracuse will have it once again. Well, Dale, we went through an undefeated football season.
That's right.
And now
we must be good luck.
9-0 in this lacrosse season. At least we will be in a couple of seconds.
These guys have a great attitude. You know, when you talk to them off the field, they just really believe that what they've got to do, and they go ahead and do it to win the NCAAs. They feel they can. Fast break.
Carrying it into the box with 20 seconds to go is McDevitt, and Lehine plays the bouncing shot at eye level. Now 5 seconds to go, and the fans count it down. It's all over here at Sholkoff Field in Ithaca. Syracuse with a 19-7 win over Cornell. Identical score that they were beaten by Pennsylvania by, 19-7. We'll be right back. Syracuse has defeated Cornell 19-7 to run their record to 9-0 on the year. They'll go on the road now for games at Rutgers and Penn before returning to the Carrier Dome against the University of Massachusetts. And that will be our next televised game on many of these super sports stations. Matt Palin had a fine game of the Nets for Syracuse as the Orangemen blanked Cornell during the entire 3rd quarter. And for most of the 4th quarter, Cornell getting 2 goals in the final 5 minutes of the game. But really the defense was the story for Syracuse in the second half.
Played exceptionally well, played well all over, but as you said, it would be very difficult to pick a most valuable player, but John Zilberti, the man we're looking at right there, excellent game. And he's assisting and scoring, and the whole team looks very, very good.
So, John Zilberti, who